In an era intoxicated by overcommunication, where sharing is celebrated and silence is mistaken for absence, we've lost touch with one of the most potent tools in human interaction: strategic silence. While the masses rush to tweet their thoughts, narrate their every move, and explain their motives, the true strategist waits, listens, observes, and when the time is right, acts. Niccolò Machiavelli, the Florentine political thinker of the 16th century, grasped this more deeply than most. While his name often conjures images of cunning manipulation and ruthless ambition, the true genius of Machiavelli lies not just in what he said, but in what he chose not to say. In The Prince, he advised rulers on statecraft with brutal clarity, but his most enduring lessons reside in the unsaid, the spaces between his words. The vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances, he wrote, appearances built from words, noise, and declaration. But silence? Silence protects truth. Silence shields reality from distortion. In a world oversaturated with information, the individual who masters silence wields an invisible sword, sharp, elusive, and devastatingly effective. The high price of unnecessary words. Machiavelli lived in a time when idle speech could lead to exile, or worse. Today, though our lives are not often at stake, reputations, leverage, and authority hang in the balance with every word we speak. Speech creates exposure. Silence safeguards strategy. Every time you speak, you give away something: your intentions, your insecurities, your logic. Silence, on the other hand, preserves autonomy. 1. Speech commits you. State a goal publicly and you've confined yourself. Alter course and you appear fickle. But stay quiet, you remain flexible. Second, speech reveals your cognitive blueprint. Explain yourself too much and you show the inner workings of your mind. That map becomes a guide for those who would oppose or outmaneuver you. Treacherous speech erodes mystique. It is much safer to be feared than loved, wrote Machiavelli. Fear, respect, and authority stem from distance, and silence sustains that distance, the modern mask of transparency. We are told that authenticity is everything. Be transparent, be real, speak your truth. But Machiavelli would scoff at the worship of open disclosure, not because honesty lacks value, but because timing and purpose matter more. Modern overcommunication is often strategic weakness disguised as vulnerability. We overshare in meetings to seem competent, spill personal stories online for attention, or reveal plans before they're ready. All of it makes us predictable. Predictable means powerless. The 3 modes of strategic silence. True Machiavellian silence isn't passive. It's calculated, intentional, and it wears 3 faces. 1. Silence for information advantage. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Let others speak first. Their words reveal their fears, their thinking, their vulnerabilities. You, meanwhile, listen and gain the upper hand. In negotiations, the first to speak often concedes. In conflict, those who erupt early reveal their pressure points. Silence draws confessions. 2. Silence for authority. Power amplifies when it's rare. Speak sparingly and every word is weighted with importance. Leaders who refrain from commenting on every issue command more attention when they do. Colleagues who avoid constant input are perceived as more insightful. This is not aloofness. This is tactical restraint. 3. Silence for ambiguity. The more you clarify, the more you narrow your options. Silence leaves room for multiple interpretations, allowing others to see what they wish to see. This ambiguity is a tool of influence. Politicians use it, negotiators live by it, leaders rely on it. The more flexible your public position, the more strategic space you preserve. The psychology of silence. Why does silence unsettle people? Because we are wired to fill gaps. When someone says nothing, we assume everything. Our projections fill the void, usually revealing more about us than about them. This is why silence dominates negotiations, interviews, and interrogations. It compels the other side to show their hand. Moreover, silence claims status. The person who listens more commands more presence. They are not seeking approval. They are evaluating. In this asymmetry, power shifts. And finally, silence creates mystique. The unknowable is often respected. The leader who shares everything seems relatable, but ordinary. The leader who withholds just enough to remain enigmatic commands awe, not because they are deceptive, but because they control the narrative. Machiavelli's warning against transparency. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Too much transparency shackles you to your words. Transparency may win you temporary trust, but it can cost you long-term adaptability. Machiavelli wasn't advocating lies, he was urging discretion. Speak only what serves, conceal what distracts. Silence isn't secrecy, it's sovereignty, applying strategic silence today. How do we integrate Machiavellian silence in a noisy world? 1. Prioritize listening. In meetings, debates, and personal exchanges, speak last. Let others expose their thinking first. Ask questions that invite disclosure but commit to little in return. 2. Embrace ambiguity. You don't have to define every detail. State vision, not every step. Share purpose, not every motive. Clarity is useful. Over-clarity is binding. 3. Get comfortable with discomfort. Let others fill the awkward silences. It's in those moments that people reveal what they weren't planning to, the whisper that wins. Strategic silence is not about muteness. It's about choosing when to speak and why. It's about conserving energy, controlling perception, and preserving your ability to maneuver. As Machiavelli said, the world is composed of the vulgar, those who are easily swayed by appearances. In a culture where loudness is mistaken for leadership and sharing is confused with strength, the silent strategist walks in shadow and strikes in light. Say less. Mean more. Win quietly. Shut up and win.